Holy, this one's crazy, dude. So, I mean, just to take a step back before I even read this freaking, headline and everything here. The Hulk news, World War Hulk, Hulk versus Wolverine, all of these, we've been all over the place with this stuff. Holy, man. What's the deal with Hulk? And now all of a sudden he's going to be in Spider-Man 4 as well. We're going to talk about it. So let's read this report here and then let's fill in some of the gaps. So this came out from the World of Real. By the way, they actually have gotten a lot of stuff right. Community notes on Twitter try to make it seem like they're total randos that don't get anything right. Jesus, man, that's not true. Like they have pretty good sources over there, man. George Miller, y'all know Georgie boy? Y'all know Georgie boy? I will get into all the chats in just a bit here, man. I want to do the segments and then we'll get in more into Q&A. George Miller has shown interest in directing Thor 5 and Hulk. Let's read the article. There hasn't been a Hulk movie since 2008's Incredible Hulk. Before that one, we had Ang Lee's polarizing Hulk in 2003. But otherwise, the character has mostly shown up in Avengers and Captain America movies. By the way, when's the last time y'all watched Hulk by Ang Lee? That was a movie that at the time I liked a lot when I was a kid. I think I went to see it in theaters multiple times. My cousin and I went to see it a couple times. Revisited it a couple of years ago when all the multiverse rumors started kicking off for Secret Wars. It is awful. It is horrible, that Hulk movie. Like, holy. Anyway, last night, a listing on Production Weekly had World War Hulk shooting in 2025. I decided to reach out to a few of my sources and confirm this bit of news, and what I got was quite a lot of information. Although plans are not official at the moment, the goal is to indeed shoot the film this year. Mark Ruffalo is set to come back in the titular role, and his character will have a very busy year as this coming February's Captain America Brave New World will set up World War Hulk for him, and a few months later, Thunderbolts will be the connecting branch for the character's first solo movie. Now, that's crazy. We're going to have to come back to that. It's pretty wild how Marvel boss Kevin Feige hasn't given us a Hulk movie in the MCU yet. I get that it's a rights issue, and that's slowed down the process, but there's honestly nothing that money can't buy when it comes to Disney. They'll nab the rights if they haven't already. The World War Hulk comic follows on the tragic death of Hulk's wife. A more powerful Hulk then vows vengeance against the Illuminati and Earth's heroes and wreaks havoc against waves of Earth's mightiest defenders, taking out a slew of targets in his chaotic path. Now, here's the most interesting intel I gathered from last night. Feige has reached out to numerous directors for World War Hulk, including George Miller. George Miller, probably best known for like the Mad Max movies and Furiosa and all that, right? Additionally, Miller has also shown interest in helming Thor 5, and it was actually his Furiosa star, Chris Hemsworth, who set up the meeting between Miller and Feige. Quite interesting, huh? One shouldn't be surprised by Miller's interest in directing an MCU movie. He had a planned DCU movie, Justice League Mortal, and it fell apart during the final days of pre-production. I think because of a strike, actually. That will remain one of the great cinematic what-ifs. Just imagine Miller's visual pow directing a Justice League movie. Yeah, it would have been sick. In 2019 interview with Deadline, Miller defied Martin Scorsese's anti-Marvel take and admitted to being a big fan of the MCU. Let's go. One of us. One of us. One of us. He said, Martin Scorsese is a punk-ass bitch. I watch all of them, to be honest. In terms of this debate, cinema is cinema. And it's very broad church. The test ultimately is what it means to the audience. And also, Scorsese's kind of stinky. Can't believe he said that personal stuff, but that's pretty cool. Miller additionally pointed out Scorsese's hubris in assuming that commercially successful movie would constitute compromised art. It's such a broad spectrum, a wide range to say that anyone is more significant or more important than the other is missing the point. It's one big mosaic, and each bit of work fits into it. Miller isn't just a director of Mad Max movies. Least we forget, he also directed The Witches of Eastwick, Babe, Pig in the City, Happy Feet, and Happy Feet 2. What? I actually didn't know he did the Happy Feet movies. Whoa. Okay. Okay, couple of things to get into here, but there's context, man. We got to add some context to it. So, Production Weekly drops this idea that the Hulk movie, World War Hulk, is going to film at the end of 2025. This guy reaches out to sources and realizes that, oh shit, it's real. Now, he says a couple of things here. Mark Ruffalo's coming back in the titular role, and his character will have a very busy year. This coming February's Captain America Brave New World will set up World War Hulk. For him, a few months later, Thunderbolts will be the connecting branch for the character's first solo MCU movie. That's wild. So a couple of things are going on here. From what I understand, and we're going to have to get just a little spoilery here, I plan on doing a full breakdown of this with all the spoilers and some speculation on the main channel, which I hope to release this weekend if we can resolve all of the issues. I don't think I can actually upload any videos right now until I resolve those issues. So hopefully I can get that figured out and get this video out to you over the weekend with like all the spoilers. But what I will say for now is interesting about this is I was told that at the end of Thunderbolts, or rather Captain America, there's going to be a scene with the leader and Sam Wilson's Captain America. And essentially the leader is going to tell Sam that something big is coming, and the leader will justify a lot of the actions that he takes during the movie as necessary to prepare Earth for this big threat. Okay. Now, moving on to the Thunderbolts, it's interesting because the Thunderbolts and the creation of the Sentry seems to be an extension of the thinking that's in Brave New World as far as the leader creating all of these super powerful people. So, if the person that created the Sentry, which I think is Val, if she is aware of what's going on in Brave New World, and then she realizes that there's a big threat coming, that's potentially the motivation to even create the Sentry in the first place. And so it is possible that this whole idea of Thunderbolts being the connective branch for the character's first solo MCU movie, I think what he's talking about is this idea that Thunderbolts is going to set up World War Hulk. So perhaps the thing that's going on in Brave New World that the leader is trying to prepare us for, the thing that he tells Sam about, is the same thing that motivates Val to create the Sentry and try to control the Sentry. And then the characters there then understand that this is all connected to this big coming threat. Okay. So hold that thought for a second, because I want to go over this thread from Cryptic HD Quality, because we have discussed for like maybe the last month or two the possibility of a Hulk versus Wolverine film. This was first scooped by My Time to Shine Hello, who said Hulk versus Wolverine movie is in development. Just a week later, maybe a month later, she said World War Hulk movie's in development. Okay, so look, I don't know, man. She's wrong one of the ways. She's reading the tea leaves. She might not know everything that's going on. She first indicated that Hulk versus Wolverine was a thing. We followed up on it, talked to some people. I even talked to Cryptic HD in the DMs about this, and he shared some stuff with me about it. Just this week, he came out on Twitter and clarified a few things about Hulk versus Wolverine. Interesting timing, considering what we just read in the article. This was published a day before the World of Real article. So here's what I've heard about Hulk vs. Wolverine film. I'm told the next Hulk-oriented film most likely isn't going to be Hulk vs. Wolverine film. Instead, Doomsday or Secret Wars will likely plant seeds for it, giving us a small round one fight and a full-on brawl later down the line. I was told that there were talks about having a Hulk vs. Wolverine film, but it's more likely to happen during the Mutant Saga if they 100% plan to make it. There would also be a deeper reasoning for the fight to take place. It wouldn't be half-assed cash grab just for people to come and watch the fight. I mean, honestly, I'd be down with either, but Marvel does tend to want things to be story-driven, which I've talked to you guys about as well. It's way too soon to go into the details about it, though. This also ties into AVX. We're probably getting a tease for this in Doomsday or Secret Wars, and very much later down the line, we'll get a full-scale AVX political type war. At least that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so let's put this report into the context with the other report that we just went over. So, if he has heard that the next Hulk-oriented film isn't going to be Hulk vs. Wolverine, it's likely because he heard it's actually World War Hulk. Interesting. He says that Doomsday or Secret Wars will likely plant seeds for it, giving us a small round one fight with a brawl later on down the line. He said that there are talks about this film happening, but it's more likely to happen during the Mutant Saga. He said that there'll be a story reason for it. And he said that this ties to Avengers vs. X-Men. Okay, now, again, I'm going to get into full-ass, total spoilery, as nerdy and sweaty as you can imagine detail in a big old produced video on the main channel, or potentially my new channel after everything gets deleted. So check this out. What I can say for now is that my mind immediately goes to the Maestro Hulk. Okay? To the Maestro Hulk. So if Production Weekly is correct, and if World War Hulk happens in 2025, meaning they shoot that movie this year, then it could be a Battleworld film. And if it is a Battleworld film, meaning it takes place between Doomsday and Secret Wars, it would make sense if it were a version of Hulk still played by Ruffalo. That's the Maestro, because there's actually extensive evidence that Maestro Hulk is going to be a thing, and that Maestro Hulk is likely to be one of these dark Avengers that's working for Doctor Doom. Okay, I'll go over all of this in the produced video. For now, you just got to trust me. There's a lot of breadcrumbs that lead to the fact that the Maestro Hulk is coming to the MCU. So, how do you explain a World War Hulk movie being a Battleworld film, being shot immediately, and it's still setting up things for the future? How does this tie into Avengers vs. X-Men? How does this possibly make Avengers vs. X-Men a political fight in the next saga? Because another thing we've heard is Kevin Feige's recent comments that you're going to see more X-Men characters in the next few Marvel movies. And then the story of Secret Wars sets up a whole new future for the mutants and the X-Men. The way you bring all of that together is Doom having his own group of Avengers. And one of the members of the Avengers that Doom assembles is Maestro Hulk. And Maestro Hulk essentially rules Earth, or is like a big, like, the way I see it is that Maestro Hulk would literally be given domain over Earth in Doom's new universe. So we're kind of getting into pretty crazy speculation territory here, but I kind of think the Battleworld universe will have multiple figureheads that rule multiple places. So I think if they do an evil version of Thor, which I think they will, he will be the new Odin. He will rule over a version of Asgard in Doom's new universe. Now, originally, I thought Maestro Hulk would rule Sakaar. And he would rule Sakaar, and he would have gladiatorial tournaments or something like that, and Sakaar would be this big deal in Doom's new universe or whatever. And maybe that's still what it is, and maybe World War Hulk doesn't take place on 616, and instead takes place on Sakaar. But it's also possible that Maestro Hulk rules Earth. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is potentially the way you tie World War Hulk into the current multiversal saga in a way that could allow you to do this World War Hulk thing. It allows you to set it up via Thunderbolts and Captain America, because Sentry is going to be an important part of that, probably. And yet, it still doesn't take away from anything that they're kind of potentially building for Secret Wars. Now, another thing that's going on here, and like, bro, I mean, get yourself a rag, get yourself one of those little fans or something, grab a Gatorade, because we're getting sweaty, bro. We're getting sweaty here. On a side note, and I want to do a full topic on this, but we'll touch on it here because I think it is interesting to the point. John Roca said last night that he has heard that Spider-Man 4 might become Spider-Man and the Punisher fighting against the Hulk. If Spider-Man 4 and World War Hulk are both Battleworld movies, then they could directly tie together because it's Maestro and he rules Earth. And that could be a perfect little story to kind of build and defeat Maestro and then go after Doctor Doom. Okay? So we're speculating a lot. You know, we're trying to read the tea leaves. I'm trying to talk about this report here. I'm trying to talk about the George Miller report. There's a way that it could all fit together. And holy, to me, this is some super exciting stuff. So we'll leave it for there. I want to talk more about Spider-Man 4 in a second here. But for now, what do you think about this crazy-ass story? George Miller doing Hulk, potentially doing Thor 5 as well, and it being the Maestro Hulk. Like, what do you make of that?